Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. We are going to be looking at GameStop, talking about the price movement today, and it's looking good as you can see there, 6.69%. Nice. It is $213 a share as I'm speaking. And then we're going to be looking at the reverse repo number. Did it break a trillion? Well, I'm going to give you a spoiler. It did break a trillion, but did it beat the all-time highs? Actually, let's not do a spoiler. Let's just quickly show you that. You can see that if I refresh the page right now, um, you can see that the reverse repo number was actually just under 1.1 trillion. So it is not an all-time high, but it keeps the streak of over $1 trillion days. So that's good news on the whole, but still a little bit short of the highest, which was yesterday, which was 1.147 trillion. So anyway, oh, and then finally, we're going to be going through this DD, which is how US banks are still putting the world economy at risk, how the market crash is inevitable, and what they have done to enable this despite the regulations that were put in. So, let's first go into the price of the day. As said before, GameStop is up over 6% on the day, started at around $201 a share, hit highs of almost 217, sorry, did touch 217 as you can see here on the day's range, was as low as 199, but is now settling at around 210, but on a bit of a bullish movement here. And if we just zoom out a little bit more, you can see that 210 is the highest it's been for quite a while. We've got some pretty good moves. Let me just change the it to the 3 monthly chart. You can see that we are beating a lot of the highs since July. This is the last point we were at about this, where it consolidated after the the secondary 340 spike. So hopefully we can burst through and continue. But this looks, based on the DD that's yesterday, this is the pre-earnings shoot up, the quarterly shoot up that Cryand speculated, which is basically January, March, August, leading to September, and then December are these quarterly cycles. So you can see here, here's another very bullish move, and we haven't seen a uptick in such a short time since then, and also since the previous one in March also. Just going to bring up a technical indicator here because I know we are not really looking at technical indicators too much, but I do like MACD just to see sort of the bullish price movement. And you can see this has been the longest days of greens that we've had, where the MACD line is over the signal line. You can see here that we have the MACD line in blue and the signal line in orange. And it has been positive momentum since about the 10th of August, and we haven't had this many days in a row since the last spike in June. So very good to see. Anyway, let's get on to the DD. This is by a user called Brocker, who I believe I've brought some DD before, and this is called Swapping Regulations for Offshore Risk, the full story of how US banks sidestep Dodd-Frank and put the world economy at risk again. This is a paper by Professor Greenberger, about how the Dodd-Frank regulations were put in place to protect this from dangerous swap trading, but these have been ignored and sidestepped through offshore loopholes. So I will put the links down below as always, and you can see here these are some key points. So this is US Bank's regulatory alchemy, converting an obscure agency footnote into a at-will nullification of Dodd-Frank's regulations of the multi-trillion dollar financial swaps market. Over-the-counter derivative swaps is widely viewed as a principal cause of the 2008 world financial meltdown. So here are some of the overviews of the key parts in the idea. In July 2013, the CFTC promulgated an 80-page guidance implementing Dodd-Frank's extraterritorial reach. Apologies there. That the manner in which the Dodd-Frank would apply to swap transactions would be executed outside the United States. I'll just read the last line here, that the trade association assured its swap dealer members that the newly de-guaranteed foreign subsidiaries could, if they choose to, would no longer be subject to Dodd-Frank. A substantial portion of the US swaps market has shifted from the large US bank holding companies, swap dealers, and their US affiliates to these newly guaranteed foreign subsidiaries. So you can see here that this was put in 2013 and it was used to increase transparency, but this was guaranteed. Foreign subsidiaries were not considered public, as the US swap dealer subsidiaries had been guaranteed by their corporate parents since 1992. This piece of wording was required to create a monumental loophole. So if you see here as well, these in 2016 they would have closed the loophole. However, this rule was not finalized during the inauguration of President Trump. What has not moved abroad is a very real obligation of the lenders of the last resort to rescue the US swap dealers, bank holding companies if they fail, i.e. the US taxpayer. So what does this mean? The loophole was never meant to be exploited, and there was an amendment that would have closed it completely, but the latest, though the previous administration did not want to close the loophole. So the swaps have been moved offshore out of sight, and the liabilities from dangerous offshore swaps bets remain on the US books, and if large enough, will fall on the US taxpayers. Litigation is possible and is necessary to corrupt swamps loophole. A rule is ready to end the game, and we have had a new administration since January. So this user is pretty putting his hopes on the Biden administration doing so, but I'd be surprised if that's the case. But you can see here, these are loopholes that have been exploited and are still being exploited now in this multi-trillion-dollar market. Right, guys, I'll put the link down below. You can go through the full paper, read through this article. I'll put the link to the Reddit post down below, and yeah, give it a read and let me know what you think. Definitely, we know these loopholes exist and that they're using them, but it looks like there's no way of closing it. So I think the risk is once again on the US taxpayer, and then eventually any taxpayers in the world when the House of Cards comes crashing down. So thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time.